fucking Ralph Wiggum? Really? We've hit a new low.
What's wrong with Ralph?
He torched the Dallas defense. I don't know. Just roll the tape.
If you're Ralph Wiggum, you can suck it. But hey, you know what? Welcome everybody. Welcome to Fantasy Fuck Around. I'm Tvshka. This is Josh. We in the building, and yeah, man, we're watching Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And Ralph Wiggum scored a touchdown, which I think is pretty dope.
Wrong team.
Okay, well, good team for you. I mean, do you not want Jamar Chase to score a touchdown? Right
According to the Simpsons broadcast, it was Ralph fucking Wiggum.
Okay, all right.
According to my fantasy, it was Jamar Chase, which I'm happy about. There's a difference.
Well, we're living in in Raffy's ultimate fantasy game right now. Raffy from the league because he wanted the Incredible Hulk and other people on his team because I thought this was fantasy. All right, guys.
Right.
But yeah, no, man, we're tied ball game right now. Bengals and Cowboys. That's it's pretty freaking sweet for you guys, Cowboy wise. As well as for everybody else, fantasy. It's been a good scoring week. Not good enough for some people like myself, who did not make the playoffs in our main Ruckus league. So for you all that didn't make it, condolences. We tried out here, and these streets were tough this whole year for tight ends, for injuries to wide receivers, running backs alike as well, and then rookies just apparently missing the bus and never showing up. But Josh, I mean, week 14, what kind of stands out to you, man?
If you had a top 5 draft pick, you're probably disappointed right now. That's what stand out to me of how many misses are that, not just like one, like you're always going to miss one for injury or something like that. But the fact that like, if you look at like most of the top 5 overall picks that happened, and I know we touched about this, but I mean, I think that's a big staple of, CMCs, Tyreek Hills, Breece Hall, Christian, CeeDee Lamb. He's playing well right now. But he's underperforming. But I mean, AJ Brown, he's kind of.
You had to say that, huh?
I looked at the top. I looked. You
posted your finger right in that.
You
open
posted
wound.
The draft picks, and I just called out what I saw at the top.
God bless it. Well, also the guy right behind him, my number 1 and my first round and my second round absolutely shit the bed this weekend. When somebody else who actually went a little bit later. I'm not sure about y'all's fantasy draft, but Justin Jefferson, with J.J. McCarthy at the beginning of the year getting injured, a lot of people, including myself, and I believe you as well, Josh, that we didn't have faith in Sam Darnold when we should have. And I mean, I'm just going to call him Donald Schwarzenegger because that dude just fucking beast mode and absolutely wrecked my team. Who does this? Who has Justin Jefferson and Addison on their freaking team, dude?
The person you
Good
played.
Good play. I just hate it. Just freaking hate it.
That is all about. I mean, unless that person just studied the matchup, and we're like, and they have, Biff's, book from the future, knowing that's what's going to happen.
They may. We may have to check that out. We may have to verify. Have a little bit of an investigation. But now what we are investigating is actually this pretty cool Simpsons version of Monday Night Football. Yeah. In the playoffs, they do it with Nickelodeon, where they have kind of like the gag game and people getting slimed and such.
They have SpongeBob game
further. Yeah, they had the SpongeBob one as well. I dig it. I mean, we don't have kids. And we're watching it, so it's a little bit creepy, maybe. But for
they did Toy Story one. I remember they did a Toy Story one time.
Oh, they did Toy Story. Yeah. So I mean, they're getting creative with it, and Yeah, I mean, just like having an arcade machine in a casino. Start them early, guys.
Right.
Get them hooked to those bells and whistles.
Yep.
But no, it's a pretty good one. And I mean, in reference earlier, Ralph Wiggum scored a touchdown, ladies and gentlemen.
In the red zone is really where you want to be able, as an offense, run the football. But I still love the fact that Bart's in that quarterback, and now look, Ralph or Lisa can be options.
Yeah, Burrow, Chase, and Higgins are out. Bart, Lisa, and Ralph are in. Bart Simpson takes the snap, throws to Ralph. Touchdown!
Ralph!
He's not in danger. He's in the end zone.
Yes, touchdown, Ralph. Mayfield English? That's impossible.
Oh my God. Here's. Let me show you.
Yeah.
We've getting defended by the sun. Our roof is falling off, and we're getting torched by Ralph Wiggum. The 2024 Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, you guys are winning right now. You guys are ahead of Joe Cool Burrow, who started off the year looking like Eminem. Now he looks like more like a Nick Lachey or somebody with frosted tips. But no, you guys are up 20-17 right now. Y'all just kicked a field goal. So
Doesn't make it less depressing than being torched by Ralph Wiggum. Really?
I mean, right, but when's the last time you guys were ahead of a decent team in the fourth quarter?
That's a team that's 4-8. Is it really decent?
Oh, come on. We all know the Bengals are better than their record.
Their defense isn't. That's the problem.
Oh, no, their defense is garbage.
Defense.
Which some people, you could definitely take advantage of that defense.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in our weekly top 10, some people took advantage of insane amount of scoring against defenses. I mean, you had the Buffalo Bills game, at LA against the Rams going 42-44. You had the Minnesota Vikings and the Falcons going 42-21. You had Seattle and Arizona, 30 to I can barely read right now, 18. So you had some high scoring games. I know you had another one as well. I believe it was the Packers game.
Yeah, Packers Lions.
In the 30s. Yeah. So, I mean, if this game can get into the 30s, I mean, we may have one of the higher average scoring games, really this season. I think right now 38 is like the highest average, and that's probably in part huge thank you to either the Falcons or somebody who's scoring 40 or 50 points and just going bananas. But anyways, Josh Allen is a big part of that. I mean, he absolutely dominated in a game that they ultimately lost. And so this may hurt his MVP candidacy. I know everybody's on the hype train for him right now, which, rightfully so. But Josh Allen getting 52 points, having 10 rush attempts for 82 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. Yeah, pretty good game there. But it doesn't stop because he also went on to throw 37 passes, completing 22 of them for 342 yards and 3 more touchdowns. Dude, 6 touchdowns total, 52 points. I believe that might be the second highest on the year. I want to say Chase maybe got 55, maybe somebody else. But I mean, definitely, one for the books. So if you guys have Josh Allen,
congratulations.
Hopefully you played him. Congratulations. That possibly won you your week, which possibly got you into the playoffs. But definitely look at the schedule because they do not have an easy one. They go to Detroit next week, and they play the Lions, and so that could be a very well contested game. But hey, at the same time, it doesn't matter if they win the game or not, right? As long as they score fantasy points for you. And the team that did win and scored fantasy points, really wide receiver heavy this week. I believe 6 wide receivers in the top 10. Currently, that may change by the end of this game, but Puka Nacua is the first wide receiver, getting 42 points, 5 rushes for 16 yards and 1 touchdown.
So good.
Yeah. And getting 12 receptions off 14 targets for 162 yards and 1 touchdown. Absolutely phenomenal. Is that his first rushing touchdown? I just don't remember Nacua really getting any rushing touchdowns.
I mean, he was doing everything last year, so I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah. Somebody that is on the Googles right now, definitely let us know in the chats. But yeah, then right behind him, he's scoring 39 points, was Addison, Minnesota wide receiver, who I had the luxury of going against in the main league. He got 8 receptions. That's not much. But for 133 yards and 3 effing touchdowns. Absolutely incredible. The first running back on the list, we got Charbonnet out of Seattle against the Cardinals, which Cardinals, good God. Maybe that ship has sailed, or maybe, just jump off the boat there. But anyways, Charbonnet gets 38 points, 22 rush attempts for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. And, looks like they're marching, bud. But he also got 7 receptions for 59 yards. So nice little, tack on there. And then right behind him, we go back to the quarterback, Sam Darnold. The man who threw to Jefferson and Addison all over that Atlanta defense. And scoring 45 total points in the game, but scores you 35 fantasy points. Only 4 rushes for 7 yards, but really the big picture is the 22 pass completions for 347 yards and 5 touchdowns. And then right behind him is Justin Jefferson. We'll pause after this. 32 points because he got 7 of those receptions and 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, absolutely annoying as hell. Good for them. Great scoring, affair for the Vikings. Is that a team you are hitching your wagon to the rest of this season? Because we got 3 more weeks in normal leagues as far as the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I have both Jefferson and Addison, if I have a receiver that isn't also on the Vikings with Justin Jefferson, I'm probably not playing both of them because I don't know if that's going to happen again. And then typically, statistically, right. Not statistically, but just percentage-wise, it typically doesn't happen week to week as far as between 2 wide receivers. It sometimes happens. I mean, if you have David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, how can you not start both of them every single week? Mm-hmm. Like you just seeing how they're used. I mean, with Addison, I mean, when have we brought up his name? Yep. Yeah, hear that silence? Yeah, there's a reason for that. But shout out to Addison. Finally getting back in showing why they drafted him in the first place. But really, I kind of just goes back to when JJ went down, I was still a little skeptical on Jefferson, but I wasn't skeptical about that system. Right. And so when he went to Sam Darnold, I'm like, I was still skeptical. So if you Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, or Justin Jefferson, I would have taken AJ Brown and Jamar Chase over Justin Jefferson. JJ would have been the third option if I was drafting at that point because I knew who Jalen Hurts was and I knew who AJ Brown was. I knew that. And then Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. So therefore, this quarterback in this system, Justin Jefferson, I think, is a better overall receiver than AJ Brown. Now, Jamar Chase is it depends on what day you're asking me on who is better between those two. And the fact that Joe Burrow had both of those at LSU just kind of goes into that, how great that team was.
Did, right?
But
could you imagine if in 3 or 4 years, something happened trade wise and they're all on the same team again?
They're on the same team.
In the twilight of their career. But we don't have to worry about that right now.
Nope.
And neither does Addison. I mean, maybe looking at a big contract next time if he keeps up this production. But like you said, I mean, we haven't really talked about him a whole lot. And the reason why, just been kind of all over. He was out week 2 and 3, but, week 1 he got 6.5 points. Against Green Bay, he got 22.9, but then back down to 6.6 against the Jets. Then 9.6 against Detroit, 4.2 against the Rams, 16.10 against Indiana, 4.9 against the Jags, 15.10 against Tennessee. And then he did have another 30-burger, and that was 3 weeks ago, 30.2 against Chicago. But then in between that sandwich is some shit because it's 9.4, under 10 points. And then he gets the 39.3 this week. So, it's hard to really gauge that because you look at it, Chicago's a good defense typically. So, not really wanting to target them too much. and then the big games, Detroit, the Rams, Jacksonville, well, not really a major game there, sorry, but earlier on, the Jets, at that point, we thought they were somebody. Just throwing up, subpar performances, but.
And that's kind of what it is with the number 2. Like it's either feast or famine type of thing. I mean, they both ate, so there's still some turkey left from Thanksgiving for those 2 guys to eat. But if you look at it like Jordan Addison, and I'm looking at a different league, which is a little bit lower scoring, but even after these past, this week and then the 2 weeks ago when he went off, like he's still only at wide receiver 15 or 16, depending on what your scoring is. But he's still like, you think with those numbers, he'd be up there in the top 10 or right there in the top 5, but he's not because he's just so inconsistent. The fact that he's back down there now, if you drafted Jordan Addison and he ends up being like this, then you've got this typically where he's at. He's exactly where you want him to be as far as where he is right now in the season. So that's not like we're saying anything bad about him. It's just, when he was drafted and the hype coming out and where he was drafted last year compared to what is this year. Now this year he went through the suspensions and his legal stuff off the field. So, and then JJ McCarthy went down. So it pushed him down the draft line, and you probably might have dropped. I mean, he got hurt at the beginning of the season. So it wouldn't surprise me if someone dropped Jordan Addison at the beginning of the season. He was a waiver pick for you. It's just depending on the league. So, he's a solid receiver, and if he's definitely a solid number 2, that's foregone conclusion at this point. Unless you just have you went 0 running back and Jordan Addison. At that point, you should have traded away Jordan Addison high when he went off for. Well, he really didn't go off. Well, yeah, after like week 4 as we went off. So it was like if you were 0 RB and you needed a running back, that's probably when you would have traded Addison because I mean he really didn't do anything until that week. He came out, but then I would have traded high at that point for value if especially you were 0 RB. So, but long story short, Addison's finally come into form. It just took 14 weeks to get there.
Yeah, and and in the Ruckus League, which if you all want to join, definitely join the Discord. Follow us. Everywhere, Ruckus EV. And, but yeah, definitely get in the league next year. If we get enough people, I would love to expand another league. I really want to try to do a keeper league. Dynasty was too far. It was like, okay, here, and then we went here. I want to go right in the middle. I don't want to do a keeper. But anyways, that's regardless of the point. But he was drafted 10th round in our league. And, that person held on to them the whole time.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, if it gets you in the playoffs, just off of this performance or get you, a bye or a better seed, then that's worth it, right?
Oh, definitely 10th round.
Yeah.
That's your dart throw.
Yeah.
So.
Because if you're disappointed in somebody's performance throughout the year, that's one thing. But if they show up for you at the end when you need it, then it is well worth it. I mean, this is the point to where you really want to have your horses in the stable and have everything locked in and not have to be scrambling for waiver pickups because bye seasons are done, baby. They are bye. They're gone.
Yeah.
But anyways, who else? Well, he went off. He was gone, but he returned. Tyreek Hill, baby. Welcome back, Tyreek Hill, to the top 10.
Oh, there he is. We've been looking for you for a while.
Yeah. Apparently, somebody got the milk carton and was had called the number and he was located. He got 28 points against the Jets. The goddamn Jets.
You probably told Johnny Smith, cool down, bro.
Oh, dude. Hey, stop. Got 1 rush for 6 yards, but got 10 receptions off 14 targets for 115 yards and 1 touchdown. And honestly, a lot of those were pretty just bite-sized portions. Looking at some of the highlights, I didn't watch the game in full, but not a ton of major, like big, 30, 40-yard plays. A lot of 15. But hey, that's what it takes. And got them the win. They win 32-26 over the Jets. That was very much needed for them just to kind of revive a little bit of their community. I'm sure a lot of fans have checked out. And really at this point, you're kind of looking at salvaging a little bit of the season revenue-wise and building hope for next year. So your season ticket holders maintain. And that's the same spot that the 49ers are in. But Jawan Jennings helped him out. Jennings getting 28 points, 7 receptions off of 8 targets. Really not a ton, but 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, hey, sometimes you don't need a whole lot. You just need a true few. And, that's his friends, but then also fantasy scoring. 2 touchdowns definitely going to help you out. One person who could not get into the end zone, at least reception-wise, but did twice, is waiver pickup of the week. Gariendo, 27 points there for the 49ers as well. Getting 15 rushes for 78 yards, but 2 touchdowns, baby. Also, to just stack on top of that, 2 receptions for 50 yards. Boy, am I glad I called that guy. Because he definitely helped out in a very rough bye week where 3 of my running backs were out. And then I think this might be his first time on the season. Devontae Adams in the top 10. Starting to feel a little bit like 2019.
Thank you for showing up. I'm so glad.
Yeah. He showed up maybe a little bit too late, but got you 26 points.
A little too late.
9 receptions on 11 targets for 109 yards and 1 touchdown. But unfortunately, it wasn't that losing affair to the Miami Dolphins. At least that game was pretty contested as well as most of them. Other than the Arizona and I think the Raiders game, pretty good week as far as contested football, especially when it really counts for a lot of people right now. Anything on the top 10, right?
Garindo was the number one. Like everyone was going for Garindo.
Yep.
This week. I'm not going to sit there and tell you like you're welcome or anything, but I could have put in for Garindo based on the record that the Sulphur Hill Toppers have.
You didn't. And also,
I know.
I still fucking lost.
Yeah, I know that would have been more pain in the fact that I picked him up, and you would have been like, "Dude, what the fuck? You're not going to make the playoffs."
Yeah. Oh no. If I lost because of that, maybe. But no, yeah. I got mollywopped by the Viking bunch. I got raped and pillaged. That's what happened.
Yeah, there's a thing. So when we say, "Hey, if you're losing," now there are some leagues out there that, and let me make sure I get this right because I mess it up on Rev Sports Wrap It Up. Relegated. They relegate, not regulated. Relegated.
Yep.
They get so if
Warren
you,
G
if
and
you
Nate Dogg had to relegate.
Yeah, they had to. Anyway, right? Yeah, this is
got
how
you. I got you on it, man.
Yeah,
relegate.
But if you come in last, then you are out of the league for that next year. Mm-hmm. So that I understand picking someone up. But when we say typically, if just start your lineups now, you will, according to the majority, if we show that you're not starting your lineup or anything like that, and just playing and not even doing anything, then yes, that causes an issue. But a lot of times, if you're already out of the playoffs, the only reason you need to make a waiver pick is of how the league is structured, or you don't have a full roster to put out there. I did. So there was no reason for me to screw over Tvshka or someone else fighting for that last spot to do that. So there's a thing of still playing, respecting the game, but also knowing when it's time to tap out, in a sense. Yep. So I want to make that precedent because you always hear me say don't quit. There's a difference between not starting a lineup and just giving someone an easy win, and then just taking like an Isaac, putting in for a waiver pick based on how it is. Now there's fab dollars and stuff that are out there, and that's different. I'm talking about straight. You get the first waiver pick because you have the worst team in the league, or you're like one of those top 2. I'm always like, don't be that guy and pick someone up. Now you can totally watch the world burn. You can totally if you do that, but I would just me. don't be that person. Start your lineup. If you need someone, obviously pick them up as far as setting a lineup, but don't screw someone over trying to make that last little push. That's just my little two thing. You can free from doing what you want, but I just want to make sure that people understand when I'm saying don't quit is different than don't be a dick.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, to me, the biggest thing is who are you going to drop for him?
Yeah, I know. I had too many running backs. I traded you Brian Robinson because I had too many running backs.
I mean, great pickup for this 1 week.
Right.
But, I mean, what does that look like for the rest of the season? The Niners,
pretty good as long as he stays healthy because he's the guy.
Right. But it's just like, if you're dropping somebody just because you have to fill in the hole for that week because they're on bye, I mean, you're giving up a lot more skill. To me, that's why I like to have at least one burner that I can just kind of drop willy-nilly. And if it hits, like Mooney hit whenever I kind of picked him up, and he's really been at least minimally producing to where I don't want to drop him. And he actually did very good this weekend, but didn't crack the top 10, at least as far as the overall. You want to go through any of the individual positions?
Yeah, there was a couple people.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll just run through. So for quarterbacks, top 10, you have, of course, you got Josh Allen, Sam Darnold. Right behind, you got Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy twice for some reason. So that's my bad on that spreadsheet. But Matt Stafford, Kyler Murray, and Aaron Rodgers. Any of those top 9 while I try to find our missing 10th. That kind of stick out.
I really was gonna point out Brock Purdy, not because he's on there twice, is because I just thought the fact that he really doesn't have anybody left. He's got Isaac Rindo, like his third string running back, and he's still out there balling out. Now, granted, they just went up against Chicago Bears team that literally quit. You want to talk about just a scorched earth? I think there was a 1 point the total offense was like 235 to 4. Like total yards between the two of them. So that was insane. But still got to tip my cap. Even though it's backwards, I still got to tip my cap to Brock Purdy's performance. When people were saying that, Brock Purdy's only good when he has his weapons. I mean, you can say that the Bears quit. He's still balling out at a high level. So,
excuse me. And apologies to my boy Baker Mayfield.
That's sacrilegious what you just did. You left Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. Well, look, dude, I saw B, and apparently I just doubled up on it. All right, it's been a long day.
Yeah.
This is actually the 4th thing that I've had to do today. But no, right behind him, Baker Mayfield. Purdy coming in with 22 points. Had 5 rush attempts for 11 yards, but 20 for 25 on passing. 325 yards and 2 touchdowns. Just a nice, efficient showing. I mean, call him a game manager, call him whatever you want. He is your number 6 quarterback for the week, and he is providing your team value. And, for fantasy football, that's really what it's about. For the Niners, they may not really be in the mix as far as the playoff hunt.
No.
Right there on the fringe, probably just, really hoping for some miracles. They got that win against Chicago. Kind of much to the surprise. Because usually, the teams get that coach firing bump. Good blocking there, Nelson. Sorry, guys.
No call on the face mask. Jesus.
Yeah. Was Nelson Ned Flanders' kid?
Yeah, I think
in the
so.
show? All right.
I think so.
If you guys watch Simpsons, let us know. Can't remember if that's his kid or not. But yeah, Bart tossing it to Nelson, his friend. But and now we got Chris Collinsworth. We missed out. We had a John Legend earlier.
Hey, here's the guy that wants to choke his son out anytime he mouths off. You know who that You know when he was abusing his son. You know who to remind me of? Patrick Mahomes. Like Jesus. I tell you, man, when you he look the way he gripped his son's neck just reminds me of how Patrick Mahomes grips a football.
All right. Yeah, here we go. I knew GIF would have helped us out. Yeah. Rod and Todd are Flanders kids. That's right. Good call, GIF. And welcome to the show, bud.
Nelson School Bully. Yeah, the ha. Yeah, that's him.
Oh, Nelson School Bully. Okay, then who's the fucking kid with the glasses?
I don't know.
Anyways.
Oh, Millhouse?
Millhouse. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, Millhouse was there on the block.
Gotcha.
Oh, dude. I mean, they've got to have Nelson on the sacks or something, right?
Yeah, he's got to be. He's like this. He's definitely on the defensive line. Or a linebacker.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
he's got to be.
D tackle probably.
Yeah. Any more on the quarterbacks before we run on to the running backs?
No. Shout out to Tua. When you're healthy, you're good at football in that system.
Yep.
I mean, I just when he came back, he's playing exactly the way I think he's going to play. So.
Yeah, and shout out to Aaron Rodgers making the top 10.
Yep.
We'll see if that's enough to keep his career there.
He's just doing that.
What the team politics or organizational politics are, but yeah, the fans are not happy at all. About him still being there.
No, and I think he's just doing this performance just to highlight and promote his Netflix show.
Yeah. Hey, don't blame him, man. It's all one big business, anyways.
Don't hate the player.
Yep. One person that the fans are very appreciative of him is Zach Charbonnet. Again, getting 38 points, the number one running back right behind him, Garendo. Then we jump off the top 10 overall into Rasheed White from Tampa Bay. Was it Rashad?
Rashad White.
Rashad White. Then we got Josh Jacobs, Kyron Williams, James Conner, Chuba Hubbard. Good Lord. Sorry. Trying to zoom in and out, and it is messing it up. I'm guessing Bijan Robinson, because it looks like an A, David Montgomery, and Jahmyr Gibbs. Running backs. Who you liking out of that besides the ones that you have on your team?
Shout out to
three
Chuba.
of them, by the way.
What is up with the Carolina Panthers? They're actually playing some ball, dude.
Hey, everybody gave the Chiefs shit because Bryce Young did well. And I was like, they're a good team. They're not that bad. Maybe getting that divisive player who doesn't want to play off their team and shipping him over to Baltimore, as far as Deontay Johnson, maybe that helped out the locker room. Maybe it helped out their spirits overall.
I don't know. If Deontay is really that much of a situation in the locker room, Tomlin has to be the greatest coach of all time. Because you think about all the personalities he's had to deal with Roethlisberger and his off the field crap, and Le'Veon Bell, obviously Antonio Brown, and then Deontay's so it's just Tomlin's got to be the greatest coach of all time. How you can keep all those personalities in check.
Second greatest after my boy Andy Reid.
I'm just saying, as far as dealing with personalities, man, just go with it for this. But yes, no, Andy will probably. They're going to say Belichick, but the more and more future North Carolina head football coach Bill Belichick, but that's not this show.
Ooh,
that is weird.
Is that official, or is that just still?
No, I think the rumor is that he's wanting. I think the negotiation is the fact that he's going to come in, establish the culture. And then his son's going to take, and he wants his son to take over.
Okay.
Type of thing. So
yeah, nothing like good old nepotism.
Nepotism.
Still runs strong, right?
Oh, they're full of college these days. Are all full of the tism.
Yeah. Everybody's got a little touch of tism in them, right?
Everybody got a little touch of tism.
Cheers, everybody.
Yeah, but yeah, Zach Charbonnet. Shout out to Zach Charbonnet. This is the performance we've been thinking about for the past basically season in 3 quarters.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Ken Walker coming this offseason.
Yeah.
It's his third year. It's probably coming into his end of his rookie contract. So if they like what Charbonnet is doing, it's cheaper for them to go ahead and trade Walker for a couple of draft picks or something if Charbonnet is showing what they want. I wouldn't move off of Ken Walker, personally, but I'm just throwing it out there. If Charbonnet is doing what they're supposed to do, and like I was telling people, the only offensive players that's not a handcuff, like a quarterback, wide receiver type thing, that you would start on the same team is Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, and they're 9-10, and that the only reason they're 9-10 is because both of them have to share the wealth. Sonic and Knuckles are awesome.
Sorry, just got a little blinded. They showed a picture of Chris Collinsworth in basically nothing but boxers.
Oh, gosh.
And that is blinded by the white. Because that dude is pasty. Also, pasty is Cooper Rush, dude. Oh, my gosh. Hey, he's doing good, though. He's doing good. For running backs, Garindo, great job there. I know we're going to talk about Jacobs here in a bit. But, yeah, it's just crazy. You got two players on the same team in the top 10 as far as Montgomery and Gibbs. This time Montgomery get the best of Gibbs just by a hair. We're both getting 19 points. But, it's good. And I know we're going to talk about unfortunately, talk about Kenneth Walker when we get to injuries.
Yeah, he has been banged up. You're correct, Giff. But they do weigh into that because he really hasn't been healthy a full season, I think.
He really hasn't. But one that also hasn't is Puka Nacua, jumping over to wide receivers. He's at number 142. Then you got Addison, Jefferson, Hill, Jennings, Adams, your boy Tim Patrick, which we'll talk about in a bit. Some motherfucker named McMillan. Shakir, told you the kid was good. Told you. Saw flashes last year that really saw the potential, and I think he's actually starting to kind of actuate that a little bit. Then Waddle, kind of bopping his way into the top 10 again. And then to add to the receivers, it's because they catch balls too. They just got bigger hands. George Kittle, they're in tight end land, getting 21 points, and Njoku getting 17 on, Cleveland's just weird. You love them and you hate them at the same time. And then some guy named Johnson out of New Orleans. I literally don't know who that is. McBride, still no touchdown. Good job,
Jawan Johnson, I believe.
Freiermuth getting Luth and getting one touchdown. Then you got Mayer. Fuck Johnny Smith. Thank God for overtime, but God bless it, dude. A goose egg through 4 quarters. Really needed you, bud. He only got 13 points. Then Kraft, Calcaterra, OU alumni there. And then Laporta getting some points. We got 10. He's 10 or 12 highest scoring between the two teams in the game. We'll talk about that in a bit. We'll talk about the Lions game. But out of everybody that can catch balls, that is not a running back, or Josh Allen, apparently. Anybody stick out to you, wide receiver or tight end wise, before we move on?
All you people in the Google atmosphere out there, I want someone to find out what tight end finished the season with the most receiving yards and no touchdowns, because that's what Trey McBride's about to do.
Yep.
It is insane of what he is doing with Josh Allen. Technically has more touchdown receptions this year than Trey McBride, which is insane.
Yeah.
Shout out to, and I'm still going to bring up Brock Bowers. You know why? Because
here's the thing, bud. Okay. So right now, McBride has 781 yards.
Okay.
With no touchdown. This one, for some reason, it pulled up Gerald Riggs.
Okay.
Who had 201 career receptions without a touchdown. But that's more just actual receptions, not necessarily yards.
Just more just receiving yards in the season without a touchdown from the tight end position. I'm pretty sure there's wide receivers that might have done. Hell, I feel like.
That's just NFL players overall.
Hell. Oh my gosh.
Josh Jacobs had 197 passes over whenever he was with Raiders and no touchdowns.
Gotcha. Oh, I'm just totally blanking. The stud receiver from Atlanta for years.
Michael Pitt?
No. So, somebody in the chat, help me out. My brain is blanking.
I mean, like recently or what?
No, I mean he's now. I think he's finally out of the league. He was with the Titans. Crap. He was with the Falcons for years. He was during that Super Bowl run. He was out of Alabama.
Oh, Julio Jones?
Julio Jones, yeah. Dude had like a year, like a decade before he caught another touchdown. Like it was like I forget how many. Yeah, well, Roddy White caught a lot of touchdowns, Chris. But we'll get to you. That's my boy Chris. What's up? Yes. No, it was Julio Jones. I think it was like a season and a half. Julio Jones went out, but. Walker's injury, we'll get to that here in a second. We'll go over injuries for how long he's out. Deontay Johnson, people, what?
Found the stat. Altoon
Okay.
has the most receiving yards with exactly 0 receiving touchdowns in a season. 963 yards. This is back in 1991.
All right, so he can still technically do it. Trey McBride
sounds so fucking familiar. I feel like that was a Chief.
Yeah.
He was a Jet.
But yeah, Mayor, just shout out because Brock Bowers is taking all of the attention away from you, so that's why you're there. Because Brock Bowers didn't do nothing this week.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers did decent, but not enough, and Mayer can suck it as well. So many players I hate that just still points away from my players. McMillan being the biggest offender. Because I mean, with my stack of Mayfield and Evans in the main league, it was just like that was such a good match primed for some Evans and Mayfield magic. I mean, Evans did good, but I mean, at least one more touchdown or two would have been phenomenal. But it did not happen. But what did happen is we got some people in the chats, baby. Yeah, Walker's been banged up a lot lately. I guess. What's Walker's injury and how long is he out? Oh my God, good question, Chris. We are going to get to that here soon. Yeah, Deontay Johnson, he's the worst. Oh, Roddy White, yeah, Roddy White, yeah, he was naming off.
Atlanta,
Falcons
Atlanta receiver.
There.
Yeah, Julio and Roddy for a while there was there's a reason they went to the Super Bowl that year. Yeah, and Devontae Freeman, and then Shanahan decided to throw the ball a bunch when you're up 28-3. I didn't understand that. But yeah, shout out to Chris.
Smart. Do the things people don't think you should do. Smart.
Yeah. But yeah, happy belated birthday, Chris. I do want to say that over the years, over the air.
No, which Chris? You talking about Chris Cage or Chris Taylor?
Chris Cage.
Chris Cage. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I helped draft his team, and then he proceeded to trade all of it away. But you know, it's today. All right. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, big dog!
Hey, thank you for spending your 30th birthday watching us two fuckers.
Hell yeah, dude! Yeah. Cheers to your birthday, bro.
Cheers, Chris.
Yeah, everybody at home, if you're watching
everybody
this
at home,
give him some love, man.
Yeah.
Love. Yeah. What a miserable 30th birthday to be watching us. Yeah, but yeah, no, we are going to Charlie Mike, and hey, you know what? It's 2 minutes early, but celebration.
Yeah, there you go.
Because we're about to get a little weird, everybody. Because we actually did have a little bit of time to make some graphics. But first, buddy. I mean, I was going to save this for another show. We may show it then too. How is your boy, your bestie, Javier Leggett, doing?
Can easily pick up a first down. On a 3rd and long, Young, quick toss, and Xavier Leggett had it near the sticks and got absolute.
Oh my God! Oh my God! He got so fucking
welcome. Well, that's his welcome to the NFL hit there.
Yeah, and I think that was a concussion because he also didn't catch what would have been a phenomenal game-winning possibly catch.
But I ain't giving up on Xavier. I ain't giving up on my boy Xavier Leggett, man.
Yeah.
He's a walking content machine.
Dude, I mean, just get him and Jameis Winston in like the same room.
Yeah,
And
I want Jameis. I want
live
just
stream reaction. Go.
Yeah, I want Jameis and Xavier just to have a conversation. One, Jameis is going to go off the rails, and then Xavier, you're not going to understand half the time, but it's still going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean,
and unfortunately for Jameis Winston, God did not relieve him of his interception demons.
Interception demons. Yeah, he dropped a tutty, Chris.
Oh, man. All right, bud. You ready to talk about some good games?
Yeah, let's talk some good games.
Let's go. Yeah, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. New graphic, made in like about 10 minutes. But yeah, man, we got a game of a week. So now that we're kind of into the playoffs, we're looking at next year and building out some content stuff. So let us know what you want to see from us next year. Because in the off season, we'll be working on videos as far as transition, have some music and everything with that, and really just level this up another year. It's been a great third year with you, Josh. Mm-hmm. And so for your game of the week, which one are you going with, bud?
I'm going with the first game of the week, which is between division rivals, Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. It started off a little slow, but then it's picked up. I mean, it started slow for the Green Bay Packers, but then they kind of got their footing. And it was back and forth, and then Josh on the back of Josh Jacobs, Jordan Love had a decent game. Now Jaden Reed, my boy that I've been hyping up all season, he was non-existent, really in the game. But at the end of the day, Dan Campbell had a Randy Marsh-sized nutsack that he carried around a wheelbarrow to go for it on that 4th and inches in the 30, just so they could run clock so they could kick a game winner. It's nice now. Like, if he didn't make it, they'd be calling him like, why you got to pull an Eric Sirianni? Like, it's always Sirianni gets crap for like doing some weird, crazy stuff, like the Brandon Staley type stuff of last year. But it always works out for Dan Campbell. So maybe he's just a little bit ahead of the being crazy thing because he's actually successful with it. But that's what it was. That's the game of the week to me, is the fact that it's back and forth between two teams and the Lions needed that win just as much as the Green Bay Packers, because they are now 11-1. It's the first time in franchise history that they've won 11 games in a season. So shout out to Detroit there. And then they also are keeping pace ahead of the Philadelphia Eagles to get that number 1 seed. Much less in their division because the Vikings are right on their ass. And that also gave them a little bit of cushion against the Green Bay Packers. So like I said before, we kind of like when the Bears were on a little slight roll there at the beginning of the season, I was like, there could be a chance where the Chicago Bears are going to be out of and they're like 8-8. Well, they're not going to be 8-8. But even if they were, they probably would be out of the playoffs, finishing 4th in that division while the other 3 teams are getting in the playoffs. So that game was, if you were ever to sit someone down and be like, this is why I like football, and they don't like, that's the game you would show them of this week.
Yeah, and we got a little bit of graphic here too. So just kind of to break down the game, 31-34. Not like insanely high scoring per se, but God, man, just electric though. In kind of what everybody was doing. Let me get full screen on that so I can read it. But I mean, your top providers. I mean, Josh Jacobs. We were talking about players to spotlight as far as being on fire, and that is definitely one guy. He's been on fire pretty much the whole season. So happy for him getting out of Raider Nation, out of the black hole, and getting up north into Packer, to becoming a cheesehead and actually getting some of that cheese as far as yardage. But then, Goff. I mean, why do we not consider Goff a good quarterback? I mean, nobody really talks about him. I mean, whenever they go over the highlights, it's like, yeah, I'll do it. He's great. But then it's like, you talk about MVP conversations. You talk about, top, fantasy, output, and, Goff just seems to fall off the list. I don't know if it's just too vanilla, or just because he gets overshadowed, by the 2 guys right behind him, Montgomery and Gibbs. But Patrick had a good day as well, and I think that's definitely a good candidate that you've selected. for us to talk about here in a bit, getting 22 points. But Christian Watson, Kraft, coming in there and getting it. And then you also got Williams and Bates, the kicker, scoring more than Laporta. Like, to me, everybody's doing great. Same. I'm gonna start down. I don't know what's going on there. He's getting outshined by Montgomery, Gibbs, and Patrick, and now the kicker is scoring more fantasy points than them. What is going on with those two gentlemen down there at the bottom of the list?
I don't know. Laporta's been at like every other tight end this season. He's been so up and down for as many points as Detroit has put up, but it's really Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sonic and Knuckles have been taking most of the points away, where we have, and J-Mo has been up and down. I guess it depends on who J-Mo bets on, whether or not he performs or not. And then Laporta, he's been kind of banged up from the season, but still, even when he's in there, it's not what Laporta is supposed to be. Not sitting there saying like it's a bad tight end. It's probably top 10 tight end for the year. That doesn't mean shit. I was noticing that with your camera.
Yeah, cool.
But guys, we're coming to you from 1987.
Yeah, gotta fix the tracking.
Yeah,
in a second.
Yeah, fix your tracking. Like get your bunny ears going. Mm-hmm. Figure it out. So that's why that game was just back and forth, and then that last kick probably took him over Laporta. But yeah, Jamison Williams, I thought would be consistent. He was still fine. I'm not gonna sit there and say, look, you're not like disappointed in what J-Mo did, but compared to what you were probably drafting him, you would probably expect more.
Yeah. Uh-oh. And I know you're looking at the game right now.
Damn it. Ralph Wiggums.
That's
AKA
good.
Jamar Chase. Well,
that's good for you though.
Yeah, but I already won the game.
Cowboys, but yeah.
You already won my fantasy.
You got a bye week in your playoffs now. But yeah, unfortunately, for the Cowboys, it was tied 20-20 until Jamar Chase got a looks like a 35-yard, 40-yard catch and touchdown. And with a minute left, there's still time.
Shout out to Jamar Chase, the number one receiver by a mile on the season,
dude.
By a mile.
Yeah.
So many people going into contract year with Jamar Chase. He kind of fell. I'm not going to sit there and say like, "Oh, I'm a genius." How did you know that? Everyone was going to draft Jamar Chase depending on where he fell to you. And we had the 6th pick, and I was keying in on Bijan Robinson, who is finally having a solid year as far as a running back is concerned. He's not doing what Jamar Chase is. He's not the number one overall receiver. And he just, the person right in front of me drafted Bijan. So I'm like, sure, I guess I'll just take Jamar Chase. So I'll take it.
Oh man, that's rough.
Yeah, it's rough life.
Sorry about it.
It's a rough life. With that.
You know what's also rough is the Falcons season, man. That is rough, but not rough for the Vikings. And so that's my game of the week is the Minnesota Vikings topping the Falcons. You talked about the Lions, just kind of getting that ass, but I'm an ass man, so the Vikings got some too. Addison, they're at the top, and quite a bit of the charts, as well as Darnold and Jefferson. Absolute freaking show out by those three. Sorry, but also you talked about your boy Bijan getting 20 points along with Mooney, and then even the running back Aaron Jones, moving from the Packers over to Minnesota this year.
His favorite player.
Very Brett Favre of him. And then my guy I kind of like, McLeod. He's pretty good. We'll talk about him in a bit. Algier, though, had a good showing.
Yeah.
Only 12 points as far as fantasy output, but if you watch that game, he did incredible. He showed up on the third downs when you needed him. So that's not the things that are going to show up on a fantasy scoreboard. But really, it's huge because the Falcons now drop to 6-7. So that is going to be kaputs for them. Is it going to be kaputs for their quarterback, Kirk Cousins? I mean, maybe if you're 40 years old and coming back from an Achilles injury, I don't know. I think we got two very good examples that it's just maybe you're not starter worthy. I mean, just come in and just be the backup, or maybe be a little bit of a tandem, to kind of help out in that. But just not sure what that looks like for him. I don't know exactly what his contract is off the bat, but turnovers were huge, and thank God I had that guy in as far as the Vikings defense. Even though they allowed 21 points, I think it was 2 interceptions helped me out quite a bit. The fumble and a pick. But I don't know. I that's my game of the week, just because it was one of the ones I really followed and absolutely hate watched it. Because in the main league, I had to go against Addison and I had to go against Jefferson at the same time. Again, we talked about like such a weird move to have two receivers from the same team on the same week. But Bipocalypse probably really factored in on that decision for a lot of people. Because you just didn't really have much of an option when some of the good teams were out this week as far as the bye. And looking at that, it was the sorry, I got to look around my camera. Ravens, Texans, Colts. About said the R word, even though I can say it. Commanders, Patriots, and the Broncos. So, I know that kind of hurt us for Bo Nix. Some people, especially, King Henry. And I know a lot of people were looking at Deontay Johnson to save them on this week. But apparently he didn't want to play. They kind of had to because of the bye week. But we'll see if he plays next week.
Being banged up.
Yeah, that's my game of the week. I mean, the obvious one, if we're looking at, fantasy output, it's got to be that Bills-Rams game. It almost felt reminiscent of the Chiefs-Rams back in 2019, I believe. Just a shootout of a game, got into the 50s, for each team. But yeah, looking pretty good. And it's not looking great for your guys. We got 4th down, 24 seconds left.
It was over when Ralph Wiggum scored on us.
Oh, okay. Well, shoot, we'll blame it on the Ralph.
I am.
Yeah, but don't Ralph. Okay.
Yeah, that's not my plan either.
Don't upchuck the boogie.
But with your just kind of going with your game of the week, the Bijan Robinson Algier now is what I was expecting. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, where Jahmyr Gibbs is clearly the better one. They're going to put more precedence over him, over Algier, or over David Montgomery. But that hasn't been the case because they've just been so well together. And it feels like, all right, this is your series. Next series, this is your series. Then boom, boom, boom. And if you're a fantasy owner for both of them, it's a little bit frustrating, but also they're both showing out. So it's like, I can't really complain too much because they're both eating.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, whenever both put, what was it, 20 points this week? I mean, come on. I mean, you can't, if you're going to bitch about 20 points, then I don't know. Congratulations. You got a phenomenal team. Right now, I would pay $5 for 20 points. Can we do that? Can I buy points next year? So I get the playoffs?
We'll talk about that in the offseason. We'll see if we can do it in the bylaws with that. But let's get some comments.
Yeah, just show your put your Cash App up to the screen. Let me scan it.
No.
And that's maybe that might be a template for the future of running backs. Because so much we really just put it on one person and they get they are a bruiser and they get bruised. And then you just see the life cycle be 2 years, maybe 3 years for some of these running backs. Due to injuries. And I mean, like looking at Pacheco, I called it at the beginning of the year. I was like, dude, the guy, just the way he runs with reckless abandonment. I mean, it's phenomenal to see him, kick the earth down when he runs, but it's just like, dude, like something's going to happen eventually. You can't just run that hard.
No.
Henry last year, right? Got injured, and you kind of saw a little bit when he kind of came back, and then, give him a new team, a new system, and a little bit of help because he's now not. He doesn't have to be the number one running back on the Ravens. He's the number 2. Lamar's always going to be number one. But I don't know. I just feel like maybe that's the tandem you need in a lot of different groups. For the Chiefs, it's absolutely aggravating for fantasy output, but P. Ryan had a great game. Hunt still produces, as well as Pacheco now. So we've got a three-headed monster there. And I think just for the sport of football, for one, as an organization, for your investments in these people, as players and as people, and their health, like, it's better because you're just not putting it all on them to where they're going to get injured, to where they're going to get that fatigue and just have that body breakdown because they had to literally shoulder, the team sometimes. And so I don't know. Maybe that's just kind of what the future of it is. Maybe we need to bump up running back scoring, if it becomes more of a major trend, or just maybe open up another running back position, kind of on a standard roster. I mean, of course, it's looking at 5-10 years down the road. But I mean, just as this sport evolves, Taysom Hill.
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't bring him up. As soon as you started talking about creating your own position, I'm like, just say his name. Just say his effing name. Taysom Hill.
Say his name.
He's probably a great dude. But the fact that he's listed as a tight end is sacrilegious and an injustice in our society.
So good.
He's not a tight end.
I love the chaos of it. So, but yeah. So we'll see. I mean, let us know in the chat. What do you think the future of the running back position looks like? Are there any trends you are seeing in football to where, down the road, maybe, for fantasy leagues, you may have to consider some things. I even though I hate Dynasty in general, more so just the league, because I hate all the fucking group chats. I really do like the layout of the massive team. Where you're playing 20 people, because it just feels like more of a real roster.
It's the super flex part.
I know it's super flex, but you know what I mean? But it's just, I'm just digging that. Because it gets a little bit weirder, gets a little bit nastier there on the waiver wire. But also at the same time, I mean, if somebody produces 5 points, that helps. And and it's not like a make or break if you don't get 15 points per player in some of these matches that are getting 180, 200 point fucking scores, man.
Right.
But anyways, so jumping over to the chat, Lisa Simpson scored a touchdown and knocked you out of the playoffs, man.
Well, he's a Titans fan, so he's used to disappointment, just like me.
Is he? Okay, so do you know Davis?
Yeah, I know Davis.
How many of these people? Is it his birthday too?
No.
Is everybody just joining us for the birthday?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
You're
yeah,
not
he
wrong,
scored
man.
I just looked, it was like 216 or something.
It's fucking ridiculous, dude. And he didn't have the Vikings wide receivers.
Hey, when it's your year, it's your year. But yeah, that's kind of what with the running back position. It's kind of Chris's both of his comments is what I'm saying is like they're still regarded and they're still far and few between of solid week to week running backs, but you look at it, it's like when Tua's in there, Achan's been really good as far as that CMC catching a lot of footballs, and then also just doing well on the ground. Jahmyr Gibbs, same type of thing. He just happens to have David Montgomery. They really don't use Josh Jacobs too much in the passing game. Derrick Henry, obviously, don't use him too much in the passing game, but he's just a brute force. But yes, the Derrick Henrys of the world, now he's a freak. There's a difference, but that all just give him the ball, get the frick out of the way. He's running downhill, 3 yards in a cloud of dust type of running back just doesn't really exist anymore. You have to be able to catch the ball, which is where the Bijan finally is learning how to catch the ball. And if they can actually set up some scheme sub for him, it's great. Now, do you have, and then look at Saquon. When he finally gets into the right system, he becomes that CMC type. So there are
not
those
even that. I mean, to me, he's more of the King Henry position right now.
Yeah,
because he's the number 2 running back. I think Jalen Hurts still has more running back or rushing touchdowns than Saquon Barkley does.
Yeah, I believe so.
I mean, of course, the tush push is a big part of it, but dude, I mean, whenever your quarterback's taking, some of that brunt work as well, just saving you some reps, saving you your body some shock and impact hits. But also, I mean, jump back to King Henry. Sorry, I mean to keep stepping on your point if you're trying to finish. He's not the same Henry. No. He's still doing great, but he is not running over people like he was. Neither is Debo after his injury. Debo looks like a shell of the man that he was. But yeah, sorry, I think I stepped on your last point.
Oh, no, you're good. And like Joe Mixon, like he is your typical, like he's like Curtis Martin type running back.
Ooh, dude, I like that reference, bro.
Yeah, he is a Curtis, my favorite Martin running back. That is what he reminds me of. And that's not knocking it because he's got a lot of rushing titles in his career, Curtis Martin. But that's what Joe Mixon reminds me of. Is like, you remember Curtis Martin? People are like, yeah, he was good. But then there was like 3 or 4 other guys that were just, right there
Adrian
with him.
Peterson, kind of at the tail end of his career, kind of started coming to the fold and kind of taking a lot of that shine. I mean, I would say even Marcus Allen's kind of in the same boat as Curtis Martin. Maybe not 1-for-1 running style, but just not committed, but just always reliable.
Marshall Faulk.
He's going to do the job. Ooh, Marshall Faulk, man. Now I just want to watch some rushing highlights, bro. Marshall Faulk. I mean, Barry Sanders highlights. I know we watch that sometimes.
But welcome to the dudes just naming dudes section of the show.
Right. If you can't tell, even though it took it 15 minutes ago, it might be kicking in.
Yeah. So
what is kicking in is another segment, man. Are you ready to get heated?
Let's get heated.
He's on fire.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the audio and everything.
Yeah,
we're definitely getting the NBA Jam audio.
Yeah, we're getting the NBA Jam.
Don't you fret, ladies and gentlemen. He's on fire. So this is something we're gonna kind of start doing and try out. Let us know for sure. Let us know if this just fucking sucks and we need to quit our day jobs. As far as this moment, or just let us know if you like it, and also let us know your suggestions. Just put he's on fire in big caps, and then put whichever player you want in there. For the game of the week, just put GOW in whatever game you think it was. So that would get a little bit of activity with you all. But for he's on fire, really, I mean, it's just same with the NBA Jam, right? You got your expletives that could be just the one and done kind of games. You've got he's heating up, right? Which is two in a row. And then you got he's on fire, which is 3 in a row. We're still trying to figure out some of the parameters. To me, I feel like 10 points is kind of that entry floor. But with your pick, I can't argue against it. I mean, he's on fire, and it looks like there's gonna be a lot more of this guy. So who's your dude that's on fire right now?
So just another parameter is, yes, a guy can have a good week, but we're talking about guys that might be available on waivers. That's where we're looking at as like the guy to target maybe to make that last playoff run. Because at this point you're either in the playoffs or you're not. After this week, but
what'd you say?
Playoffs? Don't talk about
Playoffs.
playoffs.
Just want to win a game. I just remember that last bit of the sound bite. So he's on fire. Look for him to pick up is Tim Patrick for the Detroit Lions because we talked about it's like, man, Laporta, he's kind of taken off. He's kind of fell a little bit. And I did say like it's Amon-Ra, Sonic and Knuckles, Jared Goff slinging it. Those are your top 4, not name a kicker. Those are your top 4 consistent week to week guys. But for a flex or anything like that, I would at least take a look at where Tim Patrick is because the dude's like Chris Carter right now. It's like all he does is catch touchdowns. Like he's that T. Higgins. Like if they're like 10, 15 yards out, they'll be or even on like the 5-yard line. And you know how Dan Campbell is. He's on that Madden mode, as Chris said earlier in the chat. He's going to target Tim Patrick. Guess what? He caught 2 touchdowns this week. And that's basically the only reason. Like if he doesn't catch touchdowns, yes, he does, but he caught 6 balls and 7 targets. That's what you need from a flex or if you're a 3 wide receiver, that's exactly the type of target you want on a team that scores and moves the ball down the field. So that's why Tim Patrick is my heating up / he's on fire, could be pickup of the week.
Yeah, no, I like that. And I mean, it's one that to me was, it's still a mystery of why they just dropped him there in Denver. Maybe some more information will come about. Maybe he wasn't a locker room guy. Maybe he got into it with coach or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like he was a great fit there in Denver. And I mean, with Bo Nix, the way he's going right now, could you imagine if he had Patrick with him as an additional weapon? Like, God bless, bro.
I mean, it's like that based on that pass. He looked pretty good throwing it to Marvin Mims. That was a Marvin Mims sighting. That was a dime.
Yeah, fucking dot. And very, very low as well. Wasn't like an arched bomb.
No, it was right after Troy Aikman talked shit about him too.
Yeah, he said, "All right, hold my beer, Troy." Yeah. You Oklahoma bitch.
That guy.
Yeah. But yeah, Troy Aikman from Oklahoma, as well as Marvin Mims. But to the Tim Patrick of it, I'm just excited for the guy kind of getting a good opportunity.
Yeah.
Do you have his stats as far as kind of what he's done recently? That way we can kind of pull from a little bit of the data itself.
I can look it up.
Yeah.
Well, you
for
can go over
everybody back home. So for our league, the ones we're pulling information for is for our Ruckus league. And again, if you want to join it, let us know. Join the Discord and follow us everywhere at Ruckus EV. But for our league, it is full PPR, and for the quarterbacks, it's only 4 points per touchdown. But yeah, man, Tim Patrick. I mean, what has he been doing lately? I know he hasn't hit 10 points the last 3 weeks. Because that was something a little point of contention as far as him being, an on-fire candidate. But no, yeah,
I mean,
what's kind of standing out to you when what you're looking at?
It's because of, like, we looked at the last 4 weeks, right? So, like, 5.6, 9.5, 6.8, 22. So, and then he went from 0 to actually being consistently targeted. Now, he still is the third wide receiver, not even mentioning Jamison Williams. So, I mean, if in certain points he could be the fourth wide receiver, but the fact that he's putting up he's still getting his targets. And again, we're trying to dig for gold in a sulfur mine. Okay. So he's the one that could be available if you really need to throw a dart during your playoff run. So that's why I'm bringing him up. It's nothing to like, it typically it happens where it's like nothing. Oh my gosh, he went off one game. Nothing. He still is somebody that in that offense I would still target. That's on because typically I would say Josh Jacobs is on fire because he's definitely been doing his thing. But Devon Achane's been doing really well this last half of the season. But those are not guys that are going to be available. They're going to be on teams. So that's why we are bringing up Tim Patrick.
Yep. No, I like it, man. And for my guy, we talked about it in the game of the week with the Falcons. Ray-Ray McCloud, man.
Just a fun name to say.
Dude, I know, right? Ray. And then McCloud. I had a coach McCloud in high school football, so.
Nice.
Dude, shout out McCloud. That dude, we always joked because he had the fattest ass, dude. Like, it was so big, he did the waddle. But no, Ray-Ray McCloud, he's got a big ass as far as getting some freaking numbers. And really it's the snap percentage. Really started week 11. He was projected to get 8.15 points, ended up getting 10.6 off a 98% snap percentage. Then week 13, he got 13.3. Maybe just in honor of that week, getting 95% snaps. This week, he went a little bit above beyond, getting 16 points on week 14, but only 64% snap percentage. So that's where it's kind of looking at, okay, maybe they knew the game was just done, and they're like, let's reserve this guy. Like, we don't want to add any insult to injury to this guy, even though he's 28 years old, but coming out of Clemson. He got 6 receptions, 6, 4, and 8. And so he's just been pretty steady. And the best part about it, no fucking touchdowns. right?
That's pretty much what he
I mean,
does. He
getting you
hardly-
that much production. I mean, I know we complain about it with McBride because that's your tight end.
Right.
That's supposed to be your stud. That's supposed to be, one of your cornerstones of your team. But if we're talking about waiver flex players, getting that much production, I mean, because we're looking at yardage wise, week 11 he got 46, 13 he got 95. They had a bye week in week 12, so that's why I'm skipping week 12. And then he had 98 yards against Minnesota. So, I mean, 8 receptions, 98 yards, no touchdowns, still getting 16.10 points. That is there's a very profitable pickup there.
Yeah.
And I believe he's still he's only rostered in 24% of leagues right now.
Yeah.
And if you look at their schedule, I mean, fucking shit. I want to play these teams. Yeah. Maybe not the Commanders, but the Raiders, the Giants. And it sucks because they're playing the Panthers in week 18. But the Panthers are a little bit better right now. But they played the Commanders on that championship weekend. So the next 2 weeks, you might see some good production. We saw how susceptible the Raiders were against the Buccaneers. And unfortunately, again, for me, fucking McMillan. But luckily, McLeod, I think it would be my guy that's on fire, a good pickup. Flex spot start. Of course, you don't have any bye weeks for the rest of the season. We're fucking done, ladies and gentlemen. We can stop crying on our pillows at night.
Yeah. The bipocalypse is over. The dust is settled. Some teams suck. Some teams are looking good.
Or for me, we can stop staying up until 2:30 in the a.m. so we can pick up fucking scraps off the table after all the waivers have got through.
Right.
I mean, I was up that late anyways. I was working the night shift during that time. But, dude, literally, I would be like, I'm going to go to bed. It's like 1:30. I'm like, nope, fucking waivers, dude. Fucking hash them out, get them lined up, wait till, prioritize them, wait till they go through, see who gets dropped, and then just try to freaking shark some of these players out. But anyways, yeah, so that is our, he's on fire. Maybe we can just abbreviate that to just on fire or something. But yeah, definitely going to be getting that audio sample from such a beloved game. But then, yeah, jumping back to the chats. One to me in Nebraska. I'm guessing Nebraska is not your real last name, but
One Damian Nebraska. You've won the best name so far in the chat.
Dude, for real, dude. You beat Raymond McLeod for sure. Yours is a lot more fun, but yeah, welcome to the chat, man, or woman. But just lost to Burrow Chase combo when I was up 70.3. Ooh,
yeah,
bro, that's rough.
That's rough.
That is grisly. Yep. Yeah, hopefully that didn't kick you out of the playoffs. Yeah, need some immediate fantasy therapy, guys. Yeah, bro, we're here for you.
Yep.
I got absolutely wrecked. I don't know if you were listening earlier. I've got absolutely wrecked by the Vikings, and it wasn't. It was a stack, but it was a weird ass stack because it was a wide receiver
stack. Weirdest stack ever.
It's a wide receiver stack.
Who starts two?
Fucking Addison and Jefferson at the same time. You monster.
Who do you have in your? It's a 10-team league. You have to have someone better than Jordan Addison.
Oh my god. Well, this week not that many people.
Oh, with the apocalypse. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Chase Dowdle and Aubrey came way too close, knocking me out of the first round. There, yeah, good man. So first round bye. There we go. Congratulations. Let us know how many people you got in that league. If it's 12 or more. Josh, congratulations again. I know you've got your first round bye in one of your leagues.
Yeah,
your main league, right?
My main
Which
league,
is how old? I mean, is it a century old now? I mean,
36 years old.
Did they etch it in stone as far as how they kept score?
It started in 1989.
Yeah, that's so fucking long ago.
Yeah,
like
so
we're barely older than your league.
That is the championship that has eluded me for so long, and I've gotten so close so many times because
we're doing it, baby. You're doing it this year.
Yeah, gosh.
Fucking doing it.
Oh gosh, it has been eluding me, and because the thing is there's 24 teams, so there's 2 different drafts. So if you win your conference, you technically that would be you like winning a typical league, but then you go up against the other conference winner who you might have the same team. So if they have that one player that It's just that you don't have, so it doesn't cancel each other out. So that just, and I've gotten there, I don't know how, a handful of times.
Yep.
And you don't win as much money winning the whole thing, but that's not the point. It's to get your name on the plaque.
Yep,
and it's been around for so long. There are 2 plaques because that's how many teams have won the damn thing.
Yeah. So for your championship week, when is that? And please don't tell me it's week 18.
No.
Okay. It's 17?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's week 17.
Good.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Because when you're talking
we
about
outlawed
like regular
it used to be that
season
way.
in regular championship, and then you play an additional game, my heart kind of dropped a little bit. So okay.
No.
Good.
No.
Good. All right, man. Yeah. Sterling Shepard. That's a good
like
fire
it, Chris.
pick.
I like it, Chris.
And I love Sterling Shepard, OU alumni. Very good friends with Baker Mayfield. Unfortunately, he didn't pan out too well there with the Giants, but apparently nobody does. It's weird. It's like you leave the Giants organization and you get better. I don't know. Maybe look at the source there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely a very good pick there. I'm going to pull up his stats just so we can actually talk about him.
I do want
to
to point out one Damien's stat here. It's like Jamar Chase, artificially overrated. Bengals should just drop him and let him go to my Vikings to team up with. Yeah, he's overrated. Yeah, he's totally overrated. Yeah, he's just
because what you need is a better quarterback right now. Come on, dude.
Yeah,
you guys are doing great with Darnold.
Yeah,
shit.
Great.
That's going to be an interesting conversation in the offseason.
Yeah, Ryan. I hope did you win this week? Because that's always great when you basically are out of some of your best players and you still are able to get the win, and then you get your best players back the next week. It's always a great feeling is you can get through that bipocalypse week if it happened to you. 10-player league and been in ours for 12 years. First time getting the bye. Hey, congratulations, Ryan. So yeah, looks like you are setting up pretty well. And then what is your lineup getting the bye? My lineup, it's a 12-team league. It's a keeper league as well. You can keep at least 3 people. And then the way the keepers work is weird because there's not very little turnover. So wherever you draft that player, you get on 3 spots the next year. So if I drafted Brock Bowers in the 14th round this year, and so I'm getting him in the 10th round this next year. So just for example on that. But my lineup, let me get here real quick, and I'll let you know. Well, we had to pick up Geno Smith over the weekend. So it's Geno Smith, Devon Achane, David Montgomery. It's a non-tight end league. So it's 1 quarterback, 2 receivers, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, and a flex, and then a kicker defense. So we've got Geno Smith, Devon Achane, David Montgomery, Jamar Chase, Darnell Mooney, Malik Neighbors, Brock Bowers, Cameron Dicker, and the Cardinals. But we still have C.J. Stroud and Bo Nix that we drafted C.J. and then we picked up Bo Nix. We have Brian Robinson that was on the bye this week, and then Jalen Warren, Josh Downs, and then Chris Olave. We got to keep you on the team. We've been there with us since the beginning. So, but yeah, we've wavered some. But yeah, that's the team. That's the first round bye. So, and it's a lower scoring league too, just so you know. So a quarterback, it goes by total yards.
So low scoring.
Yeah, it's a low scoring league. So quarterback wise, it goes by total yards. So there's no differential scoring between rushing and passing. It's just total.
Yeah, and you talk about Olave. Man, that's definitely a big question right now. When is he going to come back, if ever? And if you got an IR spot, you can't drop him.
Yeah,
you just can't. You have to hold on to him and hope for the best. Yeah. But jumping back real quick to Sterling Shepard, though, which was a great suggestion and great pick from Chris Cage. Since it's his birthday, give him a lot of love. But Sterling Shepard, though, week 12 against the Giants 3 weeks ago, got 6.6, snap percentage of 54%. You like to see that a little bit higher, but got five receptions off of 7 targets, and it's like for 16 yards. Yeah, and then that following week, 40 lowered percentage, which you don't like to see. But got still 7 targets, got 4 completions for 42 yards. It's a little bit more output there. And then this week, got a little bit of bump in snap percentage, 48. But got 4 receptions off of 6 targets for 63 yards. So his yardage is going up, and just kind of watching some of the highlights. It seems like he is either getting more separation or just getting some of the spotlight plays in kind of crucial situations. And I don't think he came over at the beginning of the year, or in the off season. I think he actually came over like maybe week 2 or something. I could be mistaken. Because he didn't play the first 3 weeks or 2 weeks. He had snap percentage of 7% against Denver, so that may have been what that was. So you may be looking at just a new player just kind of warming up to the coach, right? Yeah. Warming up to the system. I mean, him and Baker, I mean, they could kind of pull out whatever old Oklahoma play they would want, but it doesn't always jive well with the blocking schemes. So just because someone has a connection with a player doesn't mean that it's always going to be a perfect fit. You'd like to see a lot more from him, and it looks like you're probably going to. McMillan, dude, he just had that phenomenal game. I hate him for it.
Yeah.
Because he took a lot away from Evans, but had a phenomenal game. So, I mean, that's a lot of mouths to feed right there. Unfortunately, hopefully it doesn't turn into a Chiefs situation where everybody's just getting scraps, basically.
Right.
You definitely want to stay away from there. But yeah, still like it as a pick because I would love to have him on my team right now.
I loved him if it was his senior year at Oklahoma because dude went off for a gajillion yards.
God, bro. That was such a good year. And I think that might have been Mayfield's senior year.
I think he's tore when he was with the Giants, he tore his ACL 7 times in 3 weeks. It felt like every time he got out on the field, he tore his ACL.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody on that team got
tore. MetLife State. It's a MetLife field.
Yeah. Just New York, man. Place sucks. But yeah, so Ron Mice, you asked about the lineup. You also have a note for the win. Allen smacked me around. Mm-hmm. The guy behind me lost 2 due to. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, Josh Allen smacked a lot of people around this week, except for the Rams.
Man.
Weird.
Yeah, he made a lot of people his bitch
and
smacked him around. Hopefully he didn't smack you guys around too much to where you got injured. But Josh, we got a whole list of people that got injured, unfortunately.
Not as much as you would think, but still kind of crazy. So poor Jonathan Brooks. He tears his ACL in the offseason. Fights through it. You drafted him. He's been sitting on your IR the whole time. And then Chuba Hubbard goes off. So you're like, I'm probably just going to go ahead and drop him. Or you just held on to him. And then he tears the same ACL again when he comes back. So it's just like, this is stuff that just sucks. It's a rookie. Had a lot of promise out of Texas. And just tears the same ACL. So I go back to that doctor and figure out what the hell's going on. Justin Herbert is questionable after the loss to the Chiefs. Doesn't expect the leg contusion he sustained in the second quarter to affect him going forward, but he did get a little banged up. Ladd McConkey, he's I don't know. That's scaring me. There's really no other update on exactly his status and it's also a knee/shoulder, so it's just everything. He's just a broken body.
It's all connected. Yep.
Drew Lock.
Because it's right after, right? Heads,
shoulders, knees, and toes.
So that's why they're just connected.
Yep. That's
it'd just be really weird if it was head and toe.
There's no other anatomy to bring up. Just those. You got it. Yep. Drew Lock. The reason I'm bringing him up is for the Malik Neighbors or if you still have Wan'Dale Robinson for some reason. He's questionable. MRI, undergoing MRI, but remains in the starting lineup. So there you go with that. As far as, I really don't think it matters. Malik Neighbors is not doing very well right now, and I think that team is just done, unfortunately. Because, Malik started off hotter than everything. Then he got concussed, and that was it. Dallas Goedert was officially placed on injured reserve. So be targeting the other tight end for the Philadelphia Eagles. He was in our top 10 tight ends this week. So you can go ahead and pick him up. George Pickens is not expected to be available for Sunday's road matchup against the Eagles. So, Chris, I know he's a big Steelers fan. If you can give us any other insight from all of your insiders out there for Steelers. But yeah, it looks like George.
And that's such a huge game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Steelers, I mean, they're in a good spot. They're, I believe they should have clinched a playoff berth at least, even wild
Something
card.
like
But tied with the Bills right now in the AFC race in second place. So very much crucial wins, especially whenever you got the Bills going against the Lions. So for them, as a team, as an organization, this feels almost like a make or break weekend to be able to get into that second spot and get a favorable seeding and get home field advantage. But yeah, man. It's crazy just to see the whole team. I mean, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields is still their backup.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. Like, the guy who actually, won them 3 out of 4 games to start off the season, like, is their backup. Like, everybody was arguing, keep Justin in. Why are we putting in Russell Wilson? Then he comes in and is like,
that's why.
Let's go with Russell. I mean, if something happens, I mean, you guys are in a great spot. Probably the most advantageous spot, I would say, of like all the backups besides, Darnold and J.J. McCarthy, if McCarthy was, healthy.
Right.
So yeah, definitely sucks to hear that news for Pickens. I know he's been one of your dudes.
Yeah, and I've liked him the second half of the season because of the matchups they had going forward. Now, granted, I thought the Ravens played probably their best defense they could against the Steelers. But that makes sense, Chris. And I feel for you. He's a fan.
Hopefully you're in at least like 6 or 9 leagues.
Right. So we're in 75. So
that way the blow is a little bit lightened. And one of the guys I'm happy to have in some of my leagues as well, Garindo, man. What you got on him?
Yeah. He is questionable with his foot, listed as a non-participant on Monday's injury report. So unless it's now the 49ers are the worst about giving injury reports, as all CMC owners know. So whatever Shanahan says, I take it with a grain of salt. And I would just be sitting there I would look to maybe add another running back, not named in the San Francisco lineup. I think Garindo's going to play. But just how Shanahan has dealt with his roster and not disclosing much, I would be right there at 12:58 Eastern time on Sunday with your hand over the button to switch out Garindo, because unfortunately you might not know if he's going to play or not until maybe a minute before kickoff.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if it is something that's, not season ending as in, oh my God, 10 weeks, but like something that's 2 weeks. Right. I mean, to me, that's kind of drop worthy depending on, what you need in there. But also, again, if you're relying on Garindo, this late in the year, maybe we should have made a few trades.
He could be a league winner if they keep what they just did this past week up. But again, they played the Bears and quit.
Yeah, he did great, but yeah, at the same time, man. I mean, it's 1 week. I don't know if I'm going to bite that hard on the hook that soon at this stage of the game. You would hope that you'd be in a better situation to where that's your argument for a flex and not, like a mainstay. But yeah. And Ryan Moss goes on to say KC with a 2-game 1-seed lead with the doink. Can they quit making it so stressful? No. Buddy, sorry, no. They're getting viewership because everybody's hate watching them right now. The world absolutely hate them. We're in villain mode. Sorry, guys. Suck it. I mean, that's all I can say to you.
Good, like an emperor, like good.
Give in to your anger. Trust me. I wish they would at least score one more touchdown. So we're talking about a 10-point game and not 3 or 2. Absolutely ridiculous how it has worked out to them. But at the same time, they're playing for 20 games. They're not focusing on 17 everybody else is. And it's such a fucking smug thing to say out loud and hear, but that's truly what it is. That's what That's why they put their kicker on IR. Hey, go ahead and get some surgery. We're good.
Yeah.
We'll just get some random fucking people to come and kick better than Justin Tucker, dude. All right, we got a third string kicker making game-winning field goals when Justin Tucker, the GOAT, can't do it. Sorry. I think it's just a culture thing.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I think it's just culture. Why is Tucker doing this?
I don't know.
Is he injured? Is he playing through injury? Or is he in an organization to where it's just maybe not the most supportive? I don't know. Maybe Deontay Johnson's talking to him on the sidelines too much.
Yeah,
I don't fucking know, dude. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, like biggest question mark of the season, and it's like all comes down to like, what's wrong with Justin Tucker? That's the biggest question of all the NFL. It's like, what is wrong with Justin Tucker?
I don't know. I mean, maybe he's out banging 60-year-olds or something.
Such a weird stat too. Is the Ravens have lost every game this season by combined 22 points, and Justin Tucker has missed a combined 22 points of worth of field goals.
Yeah.
So
So fucking crazy. But,
such a weird thing.
But
wrapping up here,
who else is broke besides Justin Tucker?
We were talking about it earlier before. Kenneth Walker today. Mike McDonald said the Seahawks are getting tests done on Walker's calf injury, and may know more about his status in the next few days. So keep your ear to the ground, or whatever they say, Chris. As far as your what?
No, I said racist.
Oh, no, ear to the ground or floor, whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
no, I'm messing with you.
As far as
right, by the way, if you don't know. So.
as far as his status, and then Bucky Irving suffered some back tightness during the game. I would expect him to get a lot of shots to not make him feel his back, but back spasms, if that's what it is, good. I'm hoping it's not spasms; it's just a tightness. And you have a nice chiropractor and massage therapist that can loosen that up, and some heating pads. Because if it's a lower back tightened, that's not fun. It's not fun at all. Because Bucky's been playing very, very well.
Bro. I mean, yeah, he has been on fire for a while.
Yeah.
Last few weeks. And it's been really great to see. Mm-hmm. And you got to love it, dude. The guy's name is Bucky.
Yeah.
I mean, if he doesn't already have a contract with Bucky's gas station, regardless of if it's in Texas or Florida, that shit needs to happen. We need that.
He sounds like the mascot for the team he's playing on, Bucky the Buccaneer.
Yep, Bucky the Buccaneer.
Yeah,
the Buccaneers, man.
Yeah, he was the he was their mascot. Then he was like, hold on, what's his time? Oh, okay, yeah, let's put him on the field,
dude. Right, unruly. And looking at the NFC picture right now, we'll go ahead and just start in the South. There with the Buccaneers. I mean, with that win, they actually go up to 7-6 because the Falcons lost, going 6-7. And it's crazy. I mean, even though they're sub 500, they're still technically kind of in it. Being a half a game behind, because you just got to win your division to get in. But I don't know. The Buccaneers just look poised right now. They're on a 3-game winning streak. Actually looking at their schedule, they got the Chargers, Cowboys, Panthers, and Saints. That's not an easy road, really.
No, but they'll probably end up getting in the way the Atlanta Falcons are playing. I just don't see them making a run. Obviously, injuries with what happened with Godwin earlier in the season. Yeah. But their defense is just compared to, if you're going up against the Packers, you're going to get torched. If you're going up against any three of those top NFC North teams, you're going to get torched. The Eagles, you're going to get dog walked off the field. And
unless you're the Panthers.
Yeah. So watch their tape and then figure it out. But
just say, any given Sunday, folks. Any given fucking Sunday. And that's in general. I know this is fancy talk, but you never know.
Yeah. But that's just my opinion and how I'm seeing it played out.
No.
But yes, any given Sunday, all you need is a seat at the table and you can make a run. If they get hot, it's just who gets hot at the end of the season. Like, when the Giants made that run, both times basically. And then heck, the Packers in 2010, they had to literally win all 3 of their games just to make the playoffs. So they basically had the longest playoff run that I can remember, because they had to literally win every single last 3 weeks of their season. And then also, obviously, once you're in, then you can go on those runs. So that does happen.
Yeah. Well, and some of the Buccaneers defense, they are the 10th worst as far as passing touchdowns allowed. Also, NFL.com, if you could just put numbers next to your fucking stats, it'd make this so much easier so I don't have to count. Because I don't like doing that. But looking at the rest of the league itself, you got the Lions, of course, 12-1. A lot of people touting them as the most complete team and the number 1 team overall. And I'm saying it's cute, but just wait till the Super Bowl. That's all I got to say. I mean, until they do it, they ain't number 1.
When they play the Bills? Just kidding. You know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. But the Vikings right on their fucking hill, 11-2. Then you also got the Packers 9-4. I mean, is that the division that gets 3 teams in the playoffs?
Yes. No. They're gonna. It's the only one that might not make the playoffs that should make the playoffs is the Commanders in the NFC.
Yep. And the Commanders are 8-5, sitting behind the Eagles, who are 11-2, like we talked about. But yeah, they're nipping. They're right there with the Packers. But I mean, you look at their schedule. They play the Saints, all right, who just sent Derek Carr to the shop, and then they go against the Eagles. I mean, with that game, that they're controlling their destiny, as far as how far they can go. But then they kind of get easier. Falcons, yeah. I mean, will the Falcons be playing for that seed or not, or will they be further sub 500, and then they finish out the season with the Cowboys? So which Cowboys are we going to see?
We're under construction.
Yeah. I mean, you guys just lost to the Bengals. You're playing with your backup quarterback. Micah Parsons can't tip. Sorry. That's in real life, ladies and gentlemen. Micah Parsons is a cheap ass for some reason. As well as some of our Oklahoma Republicans. Oh, man. All these rich people not giving money out. That's weird. How do they have so much money? That's right.
Chris said something funny there about your Chiefs and his Steelers.
Oh, yeah. There we go. I'm not looking at it. Playback Cooper Shabarn. 2020 Steelers and 2024 Chiefs would be the most boring. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
11-1, yeah. And it sucks for fantasy. I mean, again, this is a fantasy show. It absolutely sucks. Don't get any of the Chiefs players. Maybe the kicker, or whoever the kicker is that week. God, why do I feel like our third string kicker just got injured too? I don't know why. I feel like I heard no.
I feel like you're on your. I feel like you're like another kicker injury away from calling Carly Lloyd at this point and just seeing if she still got it.
We got Justin Reed. Our safety can kick.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Whenever we were in a pinch, I think in the playoffs, he kicked, held it together. Doesn't have much distance at all. Maybe 15, 20-yard field goals, but yeah. So that's the NFC, right? Playoff picture. Looking at the AFC, of course, at the top you do got the Chiefs that we're talking about right now, 12-1. But I got to tell you, right behind them, the Chargers and the Broncos at 8-5. 8-5 is nothing to sneeze at right now, especially whenever you're looking at the other divisions. The Ravens are 8-5. The Ravens, the team that everyone's like, oh, they should have beat the Chiefs because it was a toe out. Even though they still would have had to kick a field goal or go for a 2-point conversion and or go into overtime. So missed me with that noise, but maybe they're not as good as we thought. Anyways, 8-5 leading their division, the Texans. Yeah. I don't know what to do with fucking Texans, man.
Their offensive line is not very good, and CJ is having a little bit of a sophomore slump.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully he can, for Houston's sake, he can snap himself out of it. They go to play the Dolphins, then they play the Chiefs, which honestly, I think that's the game that they'll wake up. Because everybody just, for some reason, man, they get juiced when they play the fucking Chiefs. It's your chance to take down the champ. Everybody's given their best fucking swing as much as they can without injuries. But then even after the Chiefs, they go and play the Ravens, talk about the Texans, and then they get somewhat of a bye week playing the Titans at the end. So yeah.
Oh, come on, man. Banana Man's gonna pull the Titans through.
Ah, dude. Man, I'm so sorry for the people that I helped get Will Levis for this week. He did not pan out for you. I helped some friends through some bipocalypse and just looked at the matchup, and it was like, okay, maybe that could work out.
I don't like Will Levis at all. I've never liked Will Levis.
I don't either, but I mean, it is the Jaguars. And all they had to do was just, score more than 6 points, but apparently they couldn't do that. So, yeah, anyways, jumping back to the AFC, and let's wrap that up, and then we'll jump back to the chats. But yeah, looking at the divisions, we jumped over the Bills. Of course, they clinched that fucking division. They're 10-3, right behind them, far distant behind them. Sorry, is the Dolphins at 6-7, and then they're looking at the North, right? I mean, the North has the series going on right now. If you haven't watched any of the episodes, cannot recommend it enough. Hard Knocks, it's going to be an absolute good one. I kind of wish they would have just made the whole thing about the Steelers, because I just want to hear Tomlin fucking talk.
He's awesome. Coolest.
I mean, if that guy can get into commercials with, it's really fun to see Coach Reed, just kind of smile and kind of show his personality. But God, dude, we need Tomlin in some insurance commercials or fucking something, man. Guy is legendary. But anyways, yeah. So with the Steelers, they're 10-3 right now. Ravens are 8-5, like we talked about. But then, even though they just won, the Bengals are 5-8, and the Browns 3-10, a heroic 3-10. Probably the most supported 3-10 team right now, thanks to Jameson Wilson.
Praying to the Lord so I can play the game, and I love playing in the snow. All in the same interview, same interview,
same sentence.
It kind of was.
Yeah. Now you gotta love Jameis, man. He's
grown on me so
electric
much
to listen to. Just the way he plays, honestly, it just reminds me of Baker Mayfield. Who just loves the fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's going to go out there and compete, and they do. They're a far better team than 3-10.
Yes.
I really think they could go against a lot of NFC teams and really put it to them.
It's
honestly, I think
because
they
that
could probably
owner
beat the Commanders
forced
right now. Is that weird?
Yeah. It's because that owner forced Deshaun Watson,
dude,
to make them. The whole time we were sitting there, after maybe the third week, we're like, it's not working. I know you're paying him a lot of money. Eat that mistake and move on to Jameis. At least he's going to make it entertaining.
I mean, shout out to his fucking agent who made out like a bandit. I mean, got at that time the record for the most guaranteed money. Guaranteed, ladies and gentlemen. Like Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, they got some guaranteed money. But a lot of it is contingent upon division title, which they just got. It's dependent upon number one seed. It's dependent upon playoff wins, AFC Championship Conference, and then Super Bowl rings. Like there's just accelerators or things that bump up that pay by how good you do. This motherfucker who should be in jail and penniless got the most guaranteed at that time. And the Browns is the absolute worst organization for backing him. Regardless as a person, he just wasn't that great of a player. Coming off of injury, we really didn't know what it looked like. And then you give him all that guarantee. Like, that's where you put the contingencies. Mm-hmm. Hey, we'd love to have you on board. We want to give you a shot. Everybody makes mistakes. Let's move forward. Here's 30 million, 50 million. And then if you hit all these other markers, you're good.
Yeah.
Right? All you got to do is just play more than 5 games a year. Is that too much to ask for? Oh, it is?
It's going to go down as probably the worst. We'll see what Juan Soto does, but this is probably going to be the worst contract in sports history.
Definitely. Oh, my God. fucking Yankees, mortgaging the entire
Mets.
town to get that guy. But I mean, for the Browns, not easy. They play the Chiefs, then they play the Bengals, then Dolphins and Ravens. I mean, 2 divisional games, playing the number 1 AFC team. And then, honestly, the Dolphins, I mean, maybe a little bit revised.
They've rallied off some wins.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And again,
they
may not be playing may not have that great of a chance of getting into the playoffs, but playing for next year, playing for contracts, playing for revenue, playing for fan support. Because they have a lot that they really have to gain back with the fans, especially since they still have Tua. Because that's going to be the big offseason question is, do you draft a quarterback?
I mean, this quarterback class isn't very good. So
it's not that steep.
There's not a multiple quarterbacks. It's Cam Ward, Shador.
Well,
yep, you got it.
Not that many people knew about Tom Brady. And
no,
they definitely damn sure didn't know about Brock Purdy.
I mean, I did. He looked fine, but no, he's Mr. Irrelevant for a reason. So
yeah,
because
he just iconic Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Because I mean, you just look at Brock Purdy and it's like nothing about what he did at Iowa State was just like NFL quarterback. Like he's gonna get a shot. We'll see what he does, but nothing was like, yep, this guy is actually.
Here's every commentary. Oh, well, it's the Big 12. They don't have defense. It's always been the argument. That's why they say the SEC is so much better. But I don't know. Looks like the Big 12 is doing pretty good in the SEC thanks to Texas right now. But yeah, Ryan Moss. Yeah, and I see 4 teams this time on Hard Knocks. Someone will win the division, and there is the Browns. Need to see their Monday night game on tomorrow's episode. Yeah. Yeah, the one from last week.
Also, what you were saying with the Big 12, hell, shout out to the Pac-12. They have Oregon and SMU and I also Arizona. Yeah, I mean, there's like the Pac-12.
Arizona State's the one that won it. So yeah.
I mean, Arizona State's in the Big 12, but they were in the Pac-12 last year. So it's like shout out to the Pac-12.
Yep, Pac-12. I mean,
you disbanded your football team and they got better. Congratulations, you idiots.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a weird year in college football, which you guys can hear more about that on Wrap It Up, and actually probably soon Bracket Bitches. I feel like we've got to get that going.
Yeah,
we'll
be doing
if you want to join us in that, join the Discord. We'll be sending the link out to fill out your bracket. And where to submit those, whether that be through a website portal or just by hand, just like Josh's, Premier League, that's 1,000 years old. Was Jesus on the fantasy team? The league? Did he join it?
Yeah, he didn't. The Bethlehem Braves was not that good that year, so he didn't do very well.
I think AD means after draft, right? Gotcha on that one, boo. But no, definitely join us on Wrap It Up. Join us on Bracket Bitches. And then, Josh, what do you have going on? Because you're only in a couple of shows.
Yeah, just a couple. Well, you already talked about Wrap It Up and Bracket Bitches. And then also, obviously, we'll be coming here. I mean, we have a couple more episodes left. Now, we're still trying to maybe peer in every once in a while and do some fantasy stuff as far as Dynasty and stuff like that. But obviously, it wouldn't be week to week. With the football, it's too quick. It goes too quick. It's bull crap. Anyway, so then we also have me and my buddies get together and play video games, mainly co-op, and we're doing a D&D based game called Divinity Original Sin. So if you want to see a bunch of 30-year-olds bitching each other over the most meaningless thing ever, please join us on there. We're going to start doing it Wednesdays before Wrap It Up, just for scheduling reasons. And then on Thursdays, myself and Justin Toner will be talking everything in the world of wrestling. We do that every Thursday. So if you're into that, please join us over there. We'd love to get your insight on what's going on in that world. And then we join us every week to week and let us know. Please join, like he said, join us in the Discord down below. Link is there. It is free. And we're getting ready to roll out our, like he was saying, our NCAA football brackets. We'd love you all to be a part of that and join us in the fun because we go live and going over the standings and what's going on there. And that's all I got.
Love it, man. And it's not all you got, man, because you do so much for the channel. So we appreciate you in that. And if you want to do something for the channel, you can support us by going to patreon.com/RuckusEV, join the Discord, and let us know. I mean, if you actually have a show idea or if you actually really like talking about fantasy football, let's get you into a test room and see what you got. And honestly, maybe pick you on up for next year.
Yeah.
And for some of the future shows. For Josh, I'm Tvshka. We're out of here, man. We're going to see you guys. Y'all take it easy. Be sleazy. Be breezy. Pull up that thing between your knees.
All the
because he's
easies.
gotta go pee, pee, pee.
Can easily pick up a first down. On a 3rd and long, Young, quick toss.
Oh, shoot!